Welcome to the Jeff Fitzgerald Football Show, brought to you by Brian Gorman and Gorman Fire Equipment. Coach, it was a big win on the road last week, going to Karen Crow. First of all, how did your team handle the traveling?
Handled it very well, and I think that's a fact that we've gone and we had a big trip. All these guys have been playing since they're sophomores, and had a big trip, a year ago to Scotlandville. They had another one to Walker, and then to turn around and make this trip, it was straight down 165, fairly easy trip, and so we were able to break that up by stopping in Pineville and Eaton, and then moving on south. But guys handled it extremely well, and I think it's a sign we've got a mature football team, and so hopefully they're teaching some of these young guys how to do some things.
They didn't seem to be shy. They scored offensively, they scored defensively with a safety and a pick six by Tony McNeil, and through special teams with that kickoff return. Talk about all facets of it and the scoring involved.
It was a very exciting game for us to be able to have that opportunity, but Karen Crow's a very young football team, and we didn't realize how young they were until we got to the game and got the most updated roster, and then we start kind of putting two and two together that they had some really young guys on the offensive line. Their D-line was not as big as what they had listed, and so they have a very young football team. It's a good football team, but it's a young football team, and immediately when our guys saw that, hey, look, we match up with these dudes. It doesn't matter what class they are or where they've been in the playoffs. They saw it and felt like we had gained some confidence there, and then when we started popping off 10-yard runs at a time, the first 2 or 3 plays, and then it really picked up from there.
All right, and your guys also, they seem to just again continue to play the full 4 quarters. They continued. Karen Crow came within a touchdown towards the end, and your guys put the game away.
Yeah, we really should have put it away a little bit earlier, but I think sometimes that happens. We were up 22 to whatever it was, and we relaxed a little bit, and then my hat's off to them. They came out with a great game plan against us, and we talked about after the game, they came out and ran that wing tee, and that's something that we haven't seen. I think it was 2 out of 138 plays that they had done it. It was only in a short yardage situation. Just hit I think they hit a little fullback dive real quick, and then they hit a buck sweep one time, but that's literally all we'd seen out of them. Then they come out running veer and buck sweep and wing back counter, and
literally back to back to back, different formations.
Yes, it was. But our kids adjusted well to it, and our coaches adjusted well to it, and so nobody panicked, which was a big deal. There was times to panic, but we didn't, and we had we bent a little bit, but we didn't break. So very proud of our team. Now we were gassed in the third quarter. We played a ton of defense, and then we returned the kickoff return for a touchdown, and we're back on defense, and it's like, so. But our kids got a lot of experience against that. That's something that we're going to see coming up this week, and so I think that was a good thing.
Freaks of the week. Who were the chosen ones to be those freaks this week?
Freaks of the week, obviously Tony McNeil.
Yep.
Tony was in a position where he made a bunch of tackles, but then at the same time had the pick six, and then Sean Xavier Lewis had a fair number of carries for a ton of yards.
All right, Freaks of the Week. That's Karen Crow. Plaquemines coming up next. We'll take a look at that at the Jeff Fitzgerald Football Show, brought to you by Chick-fil-A, right after this.
Hello, I'm Ross Downs of the Downs Law Firm. We're a personal injury law firm that handles cases involving 18-wheeler crashes, automobile wrecks, pedestrian accidents, as well as slip, trip, and fall. We practice in 3 different states, the states of Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi. Our legal team has approximately 50 years of combined legal experience handling these types of cases, and we've had many settlements and verdicts that have exceeded over $1 million on a repeated basis. What separates the Downs Law Firm from other personal injury type law firms is the personal care and attention that we give to each case. We're with our clients every step of the way. We advise them through issues surrounding the liability issues of a wreck or a personal injury. We also help and handle issues involving any medical questions or medical treatment that the client may need, and we try to assist them with making good decisions on what they need to do to try to get better and over their injuries on a timely and quick basis. We would invite you to contact us if you've been involved in any type of personal injury or suffered from an accident. Our legal team is here, we're available, and we'd like to visit with you. Please give us a call if we can be of further assistance. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to the Jeff Fitzgerald Football Show, brought to you by 3B Equipment. Coach, the Plaquemine Green Devils. First of all, what a mascot, but they're coming to the Lions Den tonight. Tell us more what you know about Plaquemine, because this is the first meeting between the two schools.
I know they're probably the best team on our schedule at this point. And definitely not, if I had a choice in choosing homecoming games, this would not be the game that I would choose.
And who chose this homecoming game and schedule?
Eddie Mahoney.
Oh, I thought it was a Jeff Fitzgerald.
No,
Just
Eddie
checking on that.
Mahoney chose this homecoming game. He said that we were going to play it in the middle of the year, and that's the way it was going to be, and you got to play them anyway.
Way to fire that other team up.
Ain't no doubt. Trust me, when I tell you I didn't tell them they were homecoming, they're going to find out
They
when they
will.
walk out on the field
They
tonight.
sure will.
So that won't be, hopefully that'll be better than telling them early in the week, but definitely not a team you want to pick for homecoming.
Well, they're 3-1 coming in. They defeated East St. John, they defeated Port Allen, West St. John, and the only team to beat them is the team that beats everybody, and that's St. Thomas More. They're number 5 ranked in 4A football, and they do seem to be a powerhouse.
Oh, they are a powerhouse.
What do you expect offensively?
Offensively, they're going to be wing T. They're going to line up tight
Just
end
like last
wing
week?
with a slot, identical formation.
Wow.
Identical formation. The difference is they've got a little bit different cats doing it, and it's what they've been practicing doing too. Karen Crow came out and did it just kind of off a whim.
And it worked.
Seemed like, and it did. They were successful with it. But Plaquemine, it's who they are and what they do. They're very good at it. They've got some tremendous athletes at their wing back and at their quarterback. They got a big old tight end that they split out at wide receiver from time to time, and so. The thing that we know we're going to get, we know we're going to get the veer. We know we're going to get wing back counter. We know we're going to get buck sweep. It's just a matter of what formation they do it out of, and what the little twist is to it of the week. Whether they run it out of a counter look, or they kick motion the wing back to the tailback and they come back that direction, or what. But it's going to be those 3 plays we know we're going to get.
We were really kind of amazed at how well the defense adjusted last week at Karen Crow, because they would line up spread formation, then they would line up I with the quarterback under center, then they would do the wing T. Yet your team didn't have time to substitute, and they were still able to defense each and every one of those positions.
Well,
I mean, that's a big credit to that team for just being able to handle that.
Yeah, it is, but the thing that we knew last week was personnel. So when we saw these guys, they would run guys in off the sideline. This week, we have no idea on personnel. They use the exact same personnel the entire game. So they're going to line up 2 tights, double wing. They're going to line up tight end, wing, slot. They're going to line up in double slot. They're going to line up in empty. They're going to line up in every formation imaginable from time to time, and they're going to do it all with the same personnel. So it makes it very, very difficult defensively. It forces you to play base defense, and you got to be good at your assignments and do what you coach to do.
Go to the other side of the ball. What do they run defensively?
Defensively, they're 4-2-5 or a 50. Slide back and forth between the two, kind of depending on who they're playing and the success they're having. They got some big old defensive lineman. I believe one of them's an LSU commit. Probably the other one is soon to be an LSU commit down the road. Then they're good. They're really good. Big linebackers that run well. Good skill athletes. I mean, they're a dang good football team. A dang good football team.
What do you tell your players right before they walk out onto the field tonight about what they're about to see, and with the distractions of homecoming?
You better strain from your heart and fight for your life, because that's what it's going to take. Not that we can't beat these dudes, because we can, but it's going to take straining from the heart and fighting for your life, because that's what's on the line. We got a lot stacked against us with the fair in town, with homecoming. So there's a lot of distractions. Then you're playing to this point, and I can't speak for anybody else on our schedule, but I know up until this point, for the 5 weeks that we've played, this is the best team that we're going to face, in these first 5 weeks. And we knew that coming into the season, that we felt like that probably the Denver Neville would be, one of the 2 top teams. And I think overall, they're a little bit more sound in what they do. They stay with it and don't deviate from it, where Neville would kind of bounce back and forth a little bit. What they were searching for an identity early on, and we think they found it now, but at the time they didn't know. But Plaquemine's known who they are for a long time. Very, very good football team, extremely physical and extremely fast.
One thing that helped you out last week was special teams in some areas, and in other areas it was a little different, with the extra points and all that. How do you feel going into tonight's game with special teams?
we have to put all three phases together. And that's something that I've been very pleased in so far. With our kicking game, our kids are working hard at it. They're taking pride in it. You know, we've been doing a good job of fielding punts. And then at the same time, we've been doing a very good job of punting the ball. You know, getting good yardage out of it with Zach, at that freshman back there punting. And then our kickoff return, obviously we've returned a couple of kicks this year. And so that gives us an opportunity, a good field position. They're going to have to kick it away from short kick, which gives us good field position, or kick it in the end zone, which they haven't shown to do. So we got an opportunity to gain some hidden yardage there. But we do have a little surprise coming into our kicking game. We feel like had a young man, Christian Kugel, come out and has been kicking for us for about 2 weeks now. And we've got him suited up, and so hopefully he'll be a big surprise tonight in our extra point and field goals.
Very good. Finally, before you go out onto the field, we're about to cover the Hickson Hassett keys to the game. What is your one key to the game tonight?
We're going to take care of the football and play relentless.
All right. Good luck in tonight's game. You have been tuned in to the Jeff Fitzgerald Football Show, brought to you by Barry Collins and CFM Enterprises.